So this is Michael Pepper for MMABay.co.uk, powered by Tap Out and in association with MMAapparel.co.uk with UFC middleweight contender Michael The Count Bisping. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Not a problem, Michael. Always a pleasure.
So we last saw you down under in Australia. How did you find the trip overall?
Yeah, it was, well, obviously they come back with a win, so, I suppose the overall end product wasn't satisfying. I had a good training camp, and myself and the Wolfslair team, we put in a lot of work and effort, so to not get the win always stings. All in all, it was a pretty good trip, I had a good fight. I felt it was a pretty good performance against Wanderlei. And I watched the fight back recently, I think I probably did just enough to shave the first 2 rounds, but, I suppose I could say I biased a little bit, but, it was a good fight. It was very close. Wanderlei got the decision on the night, so congratulations to him. I was a little bit annoyed at not getting it, but all in all, I thought it was a good fight. It was entertaining, and fingers crossed I'll get a rematch down the line.
Okay, you've just touched on you thought you did enough to win the fight, and a lot of people have sort of thought that way. I mean, what brought you to that conclusion?
Well, when I watched the fight back, and even when I was, in the fight, I felt very comfortable. I didn't feel particularly threatened. I know the big moments with Wanderlei, and there were big moments in the fight. So as I said, all credit to Wanderlei, was the guillotine attempt at the end of the second round, and obviously the knockdown in the third round. The guillotine, but to be honest, they were pretty much the only 2 moments that he had in the fight. He didn't really do anything else apart from them. I felt I controlled the pace of the action. I got some nice takedowns. I landed some good strikes. I marked him up a little bit. I opened a big cut on his chin, a couple of black eyes, things like that. So. The takedown at the end of the second round, that was from me initiating a takedown, showing aggression and showing my dominance. I actually got the takedown. It was a good takedown, and he went for a guillotine, which he never got. It was tight and it was very uncomfortable. I'm not disputing that. But, we fight over 3 5-minute rounds, and the round ended, and I never submitted. So if he gets points for submission attempts, surely I get points for the takedown. And if you're going to score points for submission attempts, what's next? Scoring points for swinging punches that almost connect. I didn't tap, so, but as I said, other than that, I think I pretty much, he did get a takedown, he swept my leg in the second round as well, but I quickly got up and, I took him down a number of times. So I think I got both rounds. In the third round, again, the third round was pretty close. It was an error on my behalf. I think there was about 10 seconds left, and I thought, great, I've won the fight here, it's almost over, and I kind of stepped off the gas a little bit and allowed Wanderlei to come forward, and, he came out hard, he had good time management, and he threw a looping shot, and he caught me in the back of my head, and threw off me equilibrium a little bit, knocked me down, and, fair play to him, so obviously, he knocked me down, so, there's no arguing that gets in that round, I'd say. But yeah, I stand by it. I think I won 2 rounds to 1. But it was a close fight, and, as they say, you don't let it go to the judges, so congratulations to Wanderlei. And as I said, Wanderlei's been, he's been talking for a while that he'd like a rematch. I've seen some video blogs of his. He said he wants a rematch, that's fine. Fingers crossed, I get past Dan Miller and he gets past Akiyama, then I'll be more than happy to have a rematch.
Okay, I don't know whether you saw the build-up to the fight and the countdown show in particular, but from the UFC's perspective, it kind of turned into the Wanderlei Silva show with many respects. Do you think that helped sway the judges and maybe a little bit of fan pressure, as he seemed to be kind of the crowd favourite out there?
Yeah, definitely. I think, the crowd reaction definitely swayed the judges a little bit. I think, to be honest, if the fight had taken place in North America or if it had taken place in England, I'd have got the fight because, let's be honest, wrestling, there isn't a big wrestling culture in England, but we've certainly been officiating mixed martial arts competition much longer than Australia has, and obviously America has as well. And America has a great wrestling, history and culture and tradition. Australia's predominantly, known for its boxing and Thai boxing, and so I don't think they've scored my takedowns. I don't think they scored my takedowns at all, whereas if it was in America, of course they'd have scored the takedowns. Takedowns score massively in the UFC, but they didn't seem to count for shit in my fight against Wanderlei. In the fight, Wanderlei was barely touched to make contact with him, and the crowd would explode into an uproar and all chanting, I remember I hit him with a solid right hand and opened up a big cut on his chin, and there was barely a response from the crowd. I mean, Wanderlei is a very exciting fighter, and he's had a fantastic career. He's definitely a fan favourite, and rightly so. And I've got nothing but respect for the guy as well. So it's only right. He's a fan favourite, and people like to see him watch. So he had a lot of support on the night, but I do think it swayed the judges a little bit. But obviously, it was a good fight. I'm not complaining about it too much. You're asking the questions, I'm giving you my answer. It's not like I spend all my time going around talking about this. I'm merely responding to your questions before the internet freaks get on and go, oh, this is such a witchy bastard.
Rightly so, rightly so.
Yes.
You've just touched on Wanderlei's offer for the rematch. Also in his video blogs, he seems to have criticised you quite a lot. Said you need to be more aggressive and come forward more. What do you think to that?
I haven't seen him say that, but if he has said that, I think I came forward plenty of times. I think, how was I able to come forward and put him on his arse, multiple times if I was going backwards. I've never seen somebody execute a takedown going backwards, So I dispute that fact. I think I had him blocked in the first round. I should have followed it up, but I never. I went forward plenty of times, I mean, he can tell himself what he wants, you know what I mean? But why is Wanderlei asking for a rematch if he won the fight? Why is he asking for a rematch? Because he's got true fight experience, he's worried, but he knows that he can fight, very well. He knows that I probably beat him on that night. So, I respect him for having that attitude, but he wants a rematch, And why is that? Because I think he knows in his heart of hearts that I beat him.
Good point, good point. So your next fight's upcoming later this month. Dan Miller, UFC 114 in Las Vegas. How do you feel to be going back to the US to fight again?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I enjoy being an international fighter. I feel very blessed and very lucky. To be in such a fortunate position with my fighting career. I thoroughly enjoy and love, and I'm very passionate about my job, and I'm very lucky that I get to travel the world and be, as I said, an international fighter. Obviously, fighting in England's fantastic. I was very keen to fight in Australia. I fought in Canada and all over the place now. So I'm very lucky, as I said, and it would be a pleasure. Las Vegas is the mecca, for mixed martial arts. It's the fight capital of the world. So what fighter wouldn't want to fight there? Some of the greatest fights in history have taken place there, and I'm very proud and I feel privileged to be fighting there in a few weeks. And I look forward